Some people live their entire lives as if they are asleep, drifting through each day, powerless against the small urges and hidden fears that silently control them. They blame circumstances, they blame other people, they blame luck, yet the truth is far simpler and far harsher. Their mind is untrained, their will is weak, and they have never learned to master themselves. The world does not bend to those who wait. It only bows to those who refuse to surrender, who wake up every morning with the fierce determination to train themselves, body and mind, until nothing can shake them. Extreme willpower is not inherited, it is forged. And it begins with the simple, relentless understanding that willpower is like a muscle. It grows only when it is tested, stretched, and pushed beyond what you think is possible. Dense 2. Many people believe that willpower is something mystical, something that exists only in heroes, monks, or those extraordinary few. This is a lie. Willpower exists in every human being, hidden beneath layers of laziness, distraction, and excuses. But like a muscle, it cannot develop unless you lift the weight. Every small resistance, every moment you say no to comfort and yes to discipline, adds to your strength. Every time you delay gratification, every time you endure discomfort, every time you push yourself to do what is hard instead of what is easy, you are strengthening the invisible muscle of your mind. You will not notice it at first. You may feel tired, frustrated, or tempted to quit. That is the exact signal that your will is working, growing, becoming unbreakable. Bond, if you want extreme willpower, you must begin with the small battles, the victories no one else sees. Wake up early, even when your bed whispers, rest a little longer. Focus on your work, even when your mind screams for distraction. Eat what nourishes you, not what satisfies only your craving. Move your body even when you feel lazy. Speak honestly even when lying seems easier. Every time you choose the path of resistance, you are training your mind, and your mind begins to obey you rather than the impulses that once enslaved you. Discipline is not glamorous, it is invisible. But invisible discipline creates visible power, and visible power will eventually transform your life. Temdia, you must understand that this training is not about comfort or ease. The moment you seek comfort above all else, your will begins to atrophy. Strength grows in tension, in struggle, in the moments when every fiber of your being cries out to quit. These are the moments you must embrace, for they are your greatest teachers. When you do what is hard while others run from it, you are not only exercising your mind, you are defining the limits of your future self. Each repetition of resistance, each refusal to surrender makes you stronger, sharper, and more disciplined. Like a blacksmith forging steel, the heat, the hammer, and the fire shape you into something unbreakable. But training willpower is not only about resisting what is wrong, it is about creating structure, habit, and ritual. A muscle cannot grow without consistent exercise, and neither can the mind. Decide what matters most, and repeat it daily, without excuse, without exception. Let your life become a rhythm of discipline, and your willpower will become unstoppable. Small victories compound into massive strength. Over weeks, months, years, the cumulative force of these tiny acts of self-mastery will transform you. The weak, indecisive person you once were will become someone who moves through life like a force of nature. Calm, focused, unwavering, And finally, you must see willpower as freedom. People fear discipline because it sounds like restriction, but the truth is the opposite. Every act of self-control frees you from the chaos of desire, the trap of distraction, and the tyranny of impulse. The more you train your will, the less life controls you, and the more you control life. You will walk with clarity, act with precision, and live with intention. Extreme willpower is not a punishment. It is the key to total self-mastery. Remember, nothing in life is given. Everything must be earned. Your mind is the battlefield, and your will is the weapon. Train it relentlessly. Every day, every hour, every choice. This is how you build the strength that will carry you through every storm, every challenge, and every test. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for inspiration. Take action now, and let the fire of your discipline forge a mind that cannot be moved. The path to extreme willpower begins here, and it begins with the moment you begin to strengthen your will. You will realize that the greatest enemy is not outside of you. It is not the obstacles, the critics, or the chaos of the world. The greatest enemy lives quietly within. The voice that whispers doubt, the weakness that craves comfort, the fear that hides behind excuses. If you cannot conquer this inner weakness, no amount of external training, no amount of opportunity, and no amount of luck will ever grant you freedom. Every great master, every person who has achieved true power, first fought the battles within. Before you conquer the world, you must conquer yourself. Look into the mirror of your mind and face the truth. Every failure, every missed opportunity, every regret began here. It began in the moments when you allowed fear to dictate your actions, when you surrendered to temptation, when you believed the lie that you were too small, too weak, or too unworthy. These moments are invisible, but they shape the trajectory of your life far more than any external circumstance. The first step to extreme willpower is seeing this clearly and refusing to hide. You must stare at your own weakness, understand it, and decide here and now that it will no longer command your life. Conquering your inner weakness is not a one-time battle. It is a lifetime of vigilance. The mind is a battlefield where desire, doubt, and fear fight endlessly against discipline, focus, and clarity. Every day, every decision, every fleeting impulse is an opportunity to train your mind. When temptation arises, the desire to procrastinate, to complain, to give in, resist it. When fear creeps in, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown, face it. Do not run. Do not rationalize. The moment you confront what is inside, you weaken its power and strengthen your own. Each victory, no matter how small, compounds into a mind that can endure anything. Combined to conquer your inner weakness, you must cultivate awareness. The mind often acts unconsciously, reacting to old habits, conditioned fears, and invisible impulses. Begin to observe yourself without judgment, as if you are watching a warrior in training. Notice the thoughts that hold you back, the emotions that sway you, the excuses you use to justify inaction. Awareness is the weapon that allows you to intercept weakness before it controls you. Awareness allows choice. And choice is the essence of self-mastery. But awareness alone is not enough. Action must follow. Extreme willpower is born when awareness meets relentless execution. When you see a weakness, confront it immediately. If you are lazy, move. If you are fearful, act. If you are tempted to give in, endure. Do not wait for courage or inspiration. These are illusions. Act because you have chosen to act. The disciplined mind does not negotiate with weakness. It overcomes it every single time. Over weeks, months, and years, this creates a foundation that no external challenge can shake. And remember, conquering your inner weakness is not punishment. It is liberation. Every time you rise above your fears, doubts, and impulses, you piller surapa samda tolsings and pulse. Fears, doubts, and impulses. Every time you rise above your fears and impulses, every time you rise above your fears, doubts, and impulses, you rise your fears, you free yourself from the invisible chains that have bound you. The more control you gain over your inner world, the less the outside world can disturb you. Your actions become deliberate, your mind unshakable, your life unstoppable. Those who master themselves do not merely survive. They create, they lead, and they rise above circumstances that crush others. The world bows only to those who have conquered the self first. And the path to extreme willpower is therefore an inward journey before it is an outward conquest. Fight the quiet battles that others ignore. Face the weaknesses that others hide. Discipline the mind that others surrender to. Each act of inner conquest strengthens the mind, fortifies the spirit, and prepares you for every challenge the world can throw. This is the foundation upon which true self-control and unstoppable willpower are built. Once you have begun to conquer your inner weakness, you will notice that life does not grow easier. In fact, it often grows harsher. Challenges will appear not to punish you, but to test you. The world has a way of sending obstacles to those who dare to rise, and each challenge is a lesson disguised in discomfort. The weak flee from pain, the fearful shrink from struggle, but those who seek true willpower learn to embrace discomfort as their greatest teacher. It is in these moments of tension, strain, and resistance that the mind is forged into something unbreakable. To train your mind for extreme willpower, you must stop running from discomfort and instead step into it willingly, hesitation, without complaint. Mandan discomfort comes in many forms: physical strain, mental pressure, emotional fatigue, social criticism, or the quiet ache of loneliness. Most people spend their lives avoiding it, seeking ease and comfort at every turn. So be petless. But comfort is the enemy of growth. Every time you give in to ease, every time you choose convenience over challenge, you shrink the boundaries of your mind. To become unshakable, you must choose the path of discomfort, even when it is hard, even when it is unpleasant, even when it seems unnecessary. For it is through these voluntary acts of endurance that the seeds of extreme willpower are planted. Balance. When you embrace discomfort, you discover a truth that many never realize: pain is temporary, but mastery lasts forever. The body fatigues, the mind rebels, and the heart fears. Yet those who persist beyond these sensations emerge stronger, sharper, and more disciplined. Each time you face what others flee from, you train your mind to endure what most cannot. A single act of resistance becomes a lesson in control. A single act of perseverance teaches your mind that it is capable of far more than it believed. Over time, these small confrontations with difficulty compound into a mind that no obstacle can shake and no hardship can derail. Banded discomfort is also the mirror that reflects your true strength. It exposes weaknesses that you never knew existed and brings clarity to what must be overcome. When the mind experiences struggle, fear, or exhaustion, it is given a choice: surrender or rise. Those who surrender remain bound by the limits of their current strength. Those who rise, even in small steps, expand the horizon of what is possible. The path to extreme willpower is paved with these moments. Each act of facing discomfort is a brick in the foundation of a mind that refuses to bow. MDNG, but embracing discomfort does not mean recklessness or unnecessary suffering. It means deliberate, controlled confrontation with the things that strengthen you. It is the cold shower that trains your body and mind, the extra mile when your legs ache, the focused work when your energy wanes, the honest confrontation with your fears when avoidance would be easier. These are the exercises of the mind, and repetition is the key. Each time you choose the challenge over the comfort, you are growing. Each time you resist the temptation to quit, you are building a resilience that cannot be taught, only earned. Ultimately, those who master the art of embracing discomfort find freedom. For when the mind learns that pain is temporary, fear is conquerable, and struggle is a teacher rather than an enemy, nothing outside can control it. External circumstances lose their power over you because the greatest lessons have already been learned within. Life becomes a series of deliberate choices, each made with clarity and purpose, each guided by a mind that has been tempered in the fire of voluntary struggle. Extreme willpower, the kind that shapes destiny and commands respect, is born in these moments of intentional discomfort. Your mind is strong not because the world spared you, but because you learn to face what most cannot. You train it, you challenge it, you embrace it, and in doing so, you awaken a force inside yourself that cannot be shaken. The path to total self-control is paved with many people wait for motivation to strike, believing that inspiration will carry them through the hardest moments. They wait for the perfect mood, the perfect time, the perfect alignment of circumstances, and all the while, life passes by. Motivation is fleeting, fragile, and unreliable. It is like fire in the wind. It may flare brightly for a moment, but it can vanish without warning. If you wish to train your mind for extreme willpower, you cannot rely on motivation. You must rely on ritual, on structure, on the deliberate cultivation of habits that forge discipline into your very being. Ritual is the language of the disciplined mind. It does not ask whether you feel like acting. It commands you to act, and your mind obeys. When you perform the same disciplined actions day after day, whether you are inspired or tired, whether the world applauds or criticizes, you are building strength deeper than motivation alone could ever provide. These repeated actions, no matter how small they seem, shape your character and train your will. Over time, the rituals become automatic. They are no longer something you do, they are who you are. The power of ritual lies in its predictability and consistency. Life is chaotic and unpredictable, but your actions can remain constant. Decide what is essential: meditation, study, physical training, reflection, or deliberate work, and repeat it with precision every day. Do it without exception, without compromise, without relying on your mood. In the beginning, it will feel mechanical. You may resist it. You may question its purpose. That is natural. But repetition transforms these rituals into the foundation of your mind, the invisible architecture upon which extreme willpower is built. Ritual also frees the mind from the tyranny of decision fatigue. Every choice we make consumes mental energy. If you lead your life to chance, you waste your willpower on trivial decisions, leaving nothing for the battles that truly matter. Ritual simplifies your life by removing the need for constant deliberation. When the essential actions of your day are predetermined by habit, your mind is free to focus on the challenges that require true effort. Discipline becomes automatic, and self-control becomes your default state rather than a constant struggle. A mind shaped by ritual does not depend on fleeting emotions, external approval, or luck. It moves with purpose and clarity because it has been trained to act regardless of circumstance. Motivation may flicker, but ritual endures. Extreme willpower is the result of these repeated, deliberate acts performed long after the initial excitement has faded. The person who rises before dawn because it is a ritual, not because they feel like it. The person who works diligently even when tired because it is a ritual. The person who persists despite fear because it is a ritual. This person is unstoppable. The path to when the mind has been trained, the inner weakness conquered, discomfort embraced, and rituals established, you arrive at the final truth. Total self-control is not a restriction, it is freedom. The more control you gain over your thoughts, your impulses, and your actions, the less the world controls you. Fear no longer dictates your choices. Desire no longer enslaves you. Doubt cannot shake your resolve. Life ceases to be a series of reactions and becomes a series of deliberate, conscious decisions, each guided by clarity, purpose, and unshakable will. This is the essence of extreme willpower, the ability to act with precision, to endure without complaint, and to rise above the chaos that binds ordinary minds. Freedom is not found in the absence of challenge nor in the fleeting ease of comfort. True freedom is born from mastery over the self. Every act of discipline, every moment of resistance, every deliberate choice builds an inner fortress. The stronger your will, the fewer things in life can disturb your peace. Your mind becomes a sanctuary, impervious to distraction and immune to the whims of circumstance. You no longer seek freedom outside because freedom has been claimed within. You move through life unshaken, decisive, and unbound, a master of your destiny rather than a servant to it. This mastery is not arrogance, it is responsibility. With extreme willpower comes the power to shape your own life, to endure what others cannot, and to rise to heights that once seemed impossible. The mind that has been forged through struggle, discipline, and ritual is no longer a servant of impulse. It is a commander of action. It chooses what is necessary, ignores what is irrelevant, and faces the challenges of life with unwavering resolve. This is the ultimate reward of self-control, the freedom to live according to your own standards, guided by your own vision, and fortified by your own strength. Remember, the path to extreme willpower is not easy, but it is worth every effort. Each day you train your mind, confront your weakness, embrace discomfort, and follow your rituals, you step closer to a life of true freedom. Your mind becomes your ally, your will becomes your weapon, and your life becomes a reflection of the strength within. Walk this path with courage, patience, and persistence. The freedom you seek is already within you. Claim it, cultivate it, and let it guide every action you take. Best wishes on your journey. May your mind be strong, your will unshakable, and your life lived with purpose and mastery.